What up, everybody? This is my Tulsa King episode 5 Token Joe reaction, and the action is picking up. This particular episode had two separate storylines. Dwight arriving in New York for his brother Joe's funeral, and back in Tulsa where all hell is breaking loose for Dwight's crew. So let me start with the New York storyline. Dwight arriving in New York for his brother Joe's funeral. So he gets to see his ex-wife Joanne for the first time in 25 years when he goes to his brother's wake. While in New York, he also gets a call from Chicky saying that his boss Pete is in the hospital. So not only is his brother dead, his longtime friend Pete, his boss, is in the hospital, and Chicky is demanding that Dwight show up to the hospital where Chicky is immediately. And we also find out from that conversation that Dwight showed up to New York without first reporting to Chicky about what he was doing. So that kind of had Chicky pissed off a little bit too. But we got to remember back to last episode where Armin reveals to Dwight that it was Pete and Chicky and his mafia family who's the ones who set the hit out up on him while he was in prison for the guy he had to kill in self-defense while he was in prison. So he's got a little bad blood between him and his mob family right now. After that, we go to dinner where Dwight is having dinner with his family. His daughter Tina is there and the rest of the family. Dwight takes his family out to a real fancy expensive restaurant, and it doesn't go well where his daughter leaves. She says this is all about Dwight showing off how much of a big shot he is, and she didn't want any part of it. So she walks out of the dinner, and her husband leaves as well. Following that, Dwight finally goes to visit Pete and his mob family in the hospital, where he gets into another argument with Vincent because simply for offering Vincent's wife a Kleenex. So Vincent, like I said before from the jump, we know Vince is a hothead. So he got all in Dwight's face, but Dwight kept cool this particular time and didn't do nothing to Vince. But we find out that, well, later on, Dwight visits his daughter Tina at her business. She owns her own business, some kind of flower shop. But when he visits her there to go talk to her, he finds out that not only did Pete not take care of his family while he was inside, which I think he kind of already knew, but that one of Pete's soldiers named Nico actually abused his daughter while she might have been, she didn't say the age, I'm guessing probably around a teenager or somewhere around that. The only one who would ever check in on them. I don't know if he'd take care of them, but he would check in on Dwight's family. But one day on a Tuesday night it went bad, and he actually abused Dwight's daughter Tina. So Dwight finds out about that, and he is furious. So he goes to the hospital. I think he's ready to attack Nico literally at the hospital, but they actually weren't there. So he goes to see Pete face to face and confront him about not taking care of his family as he promised while Dwight was inside, and to see if Pete knew about what Nico had done to Tina. So He finds out that Pete didn't know, and Pete is actually loyal to Dwight. So I'm actually wondering if the hit that Armand was talking about, if Pete had anything to do with that, if it was more Chicky. But I guess he's not so loyal to Dwight because he didn't take care of his family. So I guess I'm wrong about that. He seems loyal to Dwight though, but we'll have to see moving forward what happens. I think it's Chicky who might be waiting for his dad to die to try to take Dwight out. But he goes to, after finding out Pete didn't know about Nico, he goes to the club or whatever that the mafia hangs out with, and they were there playing cards. Vince, Chicky, Nico, and another guy were all there playing cards, and Dwight shows up there and he catches his first body. This is how the show concludes. He catches his first body. Nico, he lets him have it, stomps his brains out at the end of the show, and tells the Chicky, the boss, to clean it up. So this is definitely going to start a problem with Dwight and his mafia family moving forward, showing up there and killing one of their members on the spot. Definitely gonna cause problems moving forward. But back in Tulsa, all hell is breaking loose. While all this had just finished happening over the past few days in New York, back in Tulsa, all hell is breaking loose for Dwight's crew because Kalon Waltrip, the leader of Black Macadam, the motorcycle gang, is pissed off about the loss he took at the music festival for Dwight and his crew, and how Dwight and his crew came and beat them down and took their profits on the final day as well. And Waltrip wants revenge, so he gets some dirty cops up there in Tulsa, Oklahoma, who's working for him, involved with this particular beef. And they start it out by pulling Dwight's driver Tyson over and taking him to jail for well, they really never said what they took him to jail for, because you know they're dirty cops, so they're just taking him to jail for no reason. They said it was because they found some marijuana or whatever in the car, but we know they just took him to jail because they're dirty cops. And they end up getting Tyson's password. He get Tyson to give them his password from his phone. So once he does this, they give this to some members of the second in command. I can't remember his name, from Waltrip's crew. He basically the guy who handles all of Waltrip's business for him. He's the only guy who can actually meet with Waltrip face to face. Everybody else has to come through this guy, the second in command. But he gets a hold of Tyson's phone, and he kidnaps Bodie. And after they get Tyson's phone and kidnap Bodie, they release Tyson from jail, but they do not give him back $1,200 that he went to jail with, and they steal his phone. So he leaves with no phone and without the $1,200 he had in his pocket. So now they have Bodie, and they kidnap Bodie, and they take Bodie straight to Kalon Waltrip, who has a sheet over Bodie's face, and when he takes it off his face, he immediately puts a knife to Bodie's throat and begin to talk about Dwight. And Bodie calls Dwight the bane of his existence. That's basically like saying a thorn in his side, or someone, the source of all my problems. So that's what Bodhi says to Waltrip about Dwight, and when asked about the relationship between Bodhi and Dwight, Bodhi tells him it is extortion. So that at that point, he lets Bodhi go, but he has the cops take Bodhi to Mitch, who wants to have a word with Mitch, but Mitch refuses to speak to the cops because he says that his establishment, his bar and restaurant, is on some kind of Indian grounds where the cops don't have any authority, so they have no right to come talking to him there. So Bodhi gets let go and he goes with Mitch. But what I want to get to is, well, Bodhi tried turning on Dwight to work with Waltrip to get out from under Dwight, because we see that Waltrip sees that Bodhi's unhappy under his circumstances with Dwight. So if Waltrip was smart, he would use this to his advantage, and this could be where he uses to weaken and undermine Dwight's business, or even be able to take Dwight out. And that gets me to Armin, who actually works with Waltrip's girlfriend. We saw her in the last episode. She called the guys who refused to do anything to Bodhi and Tyson, she called them weak links. But now we find out that she works with Armin, and she warns Armin and tells him word to the wise not to be messing with her boyfriend's crew, the Black Macadam. And at the end of the episode, we do see Armin, she tells him to Google them, and over the end of the episode we see Armin Googling them as well. So that's another person we need to look out for. I think Bodhi's the person who would turn on Dwight the fastest, but we already know that Armin has a history with Dwight, and he's tried to kill him before. So we don't even know honestly if what the information that Armin gave Dwight before about Pete and Chicky sending that hitter into the jail to kill him at the jail. We don't know if that's accurate or not. So I mean, I'm sure it is because he knew the man's name, but maybe he was the one who sent that man in there. I'm not sure what the deal is. If Armin is actually fully telling the truth, because we're not going to be able to find that out, because Dwight did not ask his mafia family back in New York about if they've seen Armin. So he's not going to know if Armin is telling the truth, because he could have at least asked them while he was there if they saw Armin. That way he would find out for sure why Armin was in Tulsa. So he's right now taking Armin at his word. Might not be a smart thing to do, but there you have it, the breakdown of Tulsa King episode 5. The action's is starting to be picked up. Dwight done caught his first body. His operation is shaky in Tulsa, with all his members of his crew being rattled a little bit, except Mitch. I think Mitch is his most stable member of his crew, but Mitch is on parole at the same time, so he can only but do so much. So there you have it. Leave your thoughts in the comments.